So they have, I mean, as you know, we have a wealth of experience. I mean, retired people from our members, retired chief executive officers who have wealth of experience in development banking who can be tapped if and when their expertise are needed. Going on page 13, I'll talk about a little bit about the World Federation of Development Financial Institutions. As you know, ADFIAP has assumed the rotating secretariat of the World Federation. There are at least three ADFIAPs of the world, so to speak. You have one ADFIAP in, I joke my friends in the World Federation that they're all ADFIAPs. So ADFIAP in Latin America, which is based in Peru. You have an ADFIAP in Africa, which is based in the Ivory Coast, and one in Istanbul, Turkey, ADFIMI. There is also, of course, an association of European development banks based in Brussels. These are the big guys, the KfWs, FMO. They're called ICFI, or European Development Finance Institutions. So we relate with them, and through the World Federation, we are now coming up with more programs trying to put together all the best practices in development banking all over the world. And you will see on page 8 the minutes of the Board of Governors of the World Federation held in Washington, D.C. during the annual World Bank IMF meetings in October. So if you would like to see Annex 8, that's the minutes of the World Federation. In terms of your secretariat in Manila, we have a lean staff still of 10 permanent staff, including myself. As you know, the Deputy Secretary General for 3 years, Mr. Sobricari, Roy to you, has retired and is now back with the Development Bank of the Philippines as the Chief of Staff of the Chairman of the Development Bank Philippines. In terms of achieving the direction set forth by the board and the strategic plan, we are basically structured in terms of result expectation, in terms of membership programs, grants and projects, and finance and administration. And as I mentioned, we have 3 business units: the IDF, the ADFIAP Consulting, and the ADFIAP Responsible Citizenship Center. Annex 9 would be the details if you would like to take a look at this. This is the organizational structure of ADFIAP. So you have over that the General Assembly, which is the highest governing body, and the Board of Directors. And then you have board committees and external auditor and the Secretariat Office in Manila. Going to page 14, performance measurement. As you know, the board gives us targets to meet during the year. For example, we're given mandate to raise and have additional 10 members each year. You have a target of revenue of $325,000 US, training revenues of $150,000 US, consulting, and so on. So if you look at the Annex 10, it will show you how we fared in terms of the target. So Annex 10 would show you that during the period we had 11 new members, so we exceeded the target. In terms of membership dues, we had 7% increase than the target. In terms of training fees, we also kind of achieved it, and over 12 over the target, and so on. So you have consulting fees, grant money. The only thing that we miss is grant money, because it's really very difficult to get grants nowadays, I suppose, because of the donors are also minimizing their grants. Okay, if there are no questions, we'll go to the financial matters. As of March 31,
excuse me, Chairman.
Sure.
Yeah,
please.
sorry to take it back on this next 8. I'm just interested in other matters on page 5 of the minutes. That's the next 8, the last page. Item D, other matters. The question is, could we have an update on this? I'll just read out the section if no one has read this. On the request of some DFI members for the WFDFI to request the International Financial Corporation to amend its position of not providing loan facilities. And all...
World Federation.
Yeah. We in Fiji, especially development banking, we also face the same problem. And what was the situation now? They say they've got funds for us, but it has to come from the private sector rather than the development bank. Just that I want to know, could you update us with that?
This is a long-standing issue, because IFC goes as the private sector arm of the World Bank, and they work on the basis that they can only participate in funding where control of the institution is a private sector. There's a private sector controlled institution, and that otherwise that the institution should deal with the public sector arm, which is part of the World Bank. The World Bank has the public sector window. That I think is the position that I think the IFC has consistently been taking. I think it is possibly to, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's possible to do the charter of the IFC. So I do not know that there is any resolution to that. But the argument is that the World Bank has a public sector window from which the public sector institutions can access funding. IFC has been separately set up to actually deal with private sector controlled institutions. So whether we will get any resolution to that, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, well, it is a factor, but am I correct?
Okay. Yeah, actually, I met with the country director of IFC in the Philippines. As usual, you will say that they're not allowed. I mean, IFC has only one client, which is the private sector. But I agree that development banks are also dealing with the private sector because they loan out to private sector, but he said, we only deal with private sector period. So that's the message.
Of course, there have been, certain circumstances which I am aware of in my own country where for a financing of a private sector venture where the IFC has come in directly to that as a risk mitigant or as a credit enhancement to allow the credit to be arranged. But they still deal there with not with the DFI, it is state-owned, but with the ultimate project borrowing entity, and so that model has worked in various ways.
Stephen, my experience in Fiji, we tried to secure a credit line with EIB, so this was the reply. Maybe because of Fiji's political situation, maybe, but otherwise, at the moment they're coming through private sectors. We cannot come through you, and I wasn't too sure. I just read this here, and I thought that...
No, that's actually correct, even because I know that EIB, for instance, deals with the FCC, and they have actually also taken this position under their global credit facilities, that they only will deal with again private sector institutions, but they may have some special facilities in relation